opportunities for economic interaction between Germany and Pakistan, the opportunity for enhancing bilateral trade and investment opportunities in Pakistan. I suggested a number of areas where there was potential, good returns, and I'm pleased to learn, and I want to share with you that two very, very important German companies, Volkswagen and Siemens, are actively pursuing investments in Pakistan, and that is very encouraging. And these are two very, very respected names, and I'm sure they will encourage others to come towards Pakistan. I shared with the Foreign Minister the increasing interest of Pakistani students to go to Germany for education, for higher education. That trend is growing, it's very encouraging, and how the two governments can help expedite visas and facilitate their opportunities for higher education in Germany. We also discussed the idea of partnership schools, how we can partner in the field of education. This is an interesting proposal, and I think that needs to be probed into. While discussing the economic opportunities, the idea of having a foreign trade chamber, a precursor to start with, and then a proper chamber, we think would be a very positive step forward. And I welcome the delegation, the exploratory delegation that will be visiting Pakistan. I did share with the Foreign Minister, when we came in, there was an irritant of some German political foundations not being able to work in Pakistan, but I'm glad we are over that problem, and that problem has been amicably resolved through discussions, and now 3 have been registered and they are working, and more, the other 2 are welcome to come and work in Pakistan. We recognize that they were doing good work, and I think their presence will add value. Obviously, fighting terrorism is a global challenge, is a regional challenge, and Pakistan has taken a lot of steps in that direction, kinetic and political steps. And I shared with the Foreign Minister the evolution of the National Action Plan, the horrific, tragic incident of the Army Public School in Peshawar. That was a watershed in our thinking, and that turned, that I would say encouraged the political leadership to reach a political consensus on how to deal with this menace. And today, Pakistan is, and this government in particular, is taking steps to ensure that the National Action Plan that was agreed by all political parties in December 2014 is implemented in letter and spirit. I also drew his attention to the very delicate situation on the Indian side of Kashmir. Pakistan feels that it needs to be addressed, and addressed immediately. Because if there are human rights violations, if there are atrocities, then there will be a reaction. And that reaction at times is difficult to contain. So dialogue is the only way forward. Pakistan has never been shy of dialogue. I think there is now an increasing demand within India for engagement and dialogue with leadership the Kashmiri leadership in India. In conclusion, I think we've had a good exchange of views. Foreign Minister will be meeting the Prime Minister as well, and there is a lot of potential in our bilateral relations to go further. Germany is a very important country of the European Union, I think the largest economy in the European Union, and Pakistan would love to engage with you. Thank you, Foreign Minister. Thank you for coming.
Ja, vielen Dank, lieber Herr Kollege. Ich freue mich auch, dass wir so kurz nach der Münchner Sicherheitskonferenz, auf der wir uns schon mal getroffen haben, und nach unserem Telefonat vor einigen Tagen heute hier in Islamabad treffen. Ich glaube, dass die Beziehungen zwischen Deutschland und Pakistan von einem intensiven Austausch geprägt sind, und den wollen wir weiter vertiefen. Das haben wir uns auch heute noch einmal vorgenommen.
Thank you, dear colleague. I too am delighted about the opportunity to see you so soon after we met only a short time ago. Thank you, dear colleague. I too am delighted about the opportunity to see you again only shortly after we met on the fringes of the Munich Security Conference and after having talked to you on the phone but a few days ago. And I'm pleased to be here in Islamabad today. The bilateral relationship between Pakistan and Germany has been characterized by very intensive exchange, and we both agree today that we want to work to make sure that that is being developed further and deepened further.
Und wie der Kollege angesprochen hat, haben die Handelsbeziehungen auch eine wichtige Rolle gespielt in unserem Gespräch heute. Deutschland ist Pakistans zweitwichtigster Handelspartner in der Europäischen Union. Ich glaube, dass der pakistanische Markt viele Möglichkeiten bietet, auch für deutsche Unternehmen, und deshalb haben wir darüber gesprochen, wie man daran arbeiten kann, auch die Hürden für ausländische Investoren abzubauen, und ich glaube, dass das auch dazu beitragen kann, auch in Zusammenarbeit mit der deutschen Wirtschaft und der sie vertretenden Kammer dafür zu sorgen, dass Pakistan ein attraktives Land wird, auch für deutsche Investitionen.
As the colleague pointed out earlier, the bilateral trade relationships has played a very prominent part in our exchanges today. Germany is the second most important trading partner of Pakistan in the European Union, and the market of Pakistan offers many numerous opportunities for German entrepreneurs and German companies. Today we talked about how we can reduce hurdles that make it difficult for foreigners and German companies to invest in Pakistan. We believe that this can make a contribution if we work with the business community and the Chamber of Commerce, that we then can make a contribution towards attracting more investments to Pakistan.
Und natürlich haben wir ganz besonders ausführlich über die Region und über die Stabilität in der Region gesprochen, und deshalb haben wir auch sehr begrüßt, dass die pakistanische Regierung sich für den Friedensprozess in Afghanistan stark macht. Sie wird bei diesem Prozess eine wichtige Rolle spielen. Letztlich tragen unsere Länder eine ganz besondere Verantwortung. Deutschland als zweitgrößter Truppensteller und Geber, Pakistan als Nachbar, Afghanistan, und deshalb haben auch meine Gesprächspartner in Afghanistan gestern immer wieder auf die Schlüsselrolle Pakistans hingewiesen, und ich bin davon überzeugt, dass die richtigen politischen Entscheidungen in Islamabad Pakistan Ansehen in der Welt steigern werden, und wir damit rechnen, dass es einen positiven Beitrag zum Friedensprozess auch in Afghanistan geben wird.
We strongly welcome the fact that the Pakistani government is undertaking efforts towards contributing to the peace process in Afghanistan. Pakistan is undoubtedly going to play a very important part in this process. And both our countries have an important part and a special role to play in that regard, Germany being the second largest troop contributor and donor to Afghanistan, and Pakistan being an immediate neighbor of Afghanistan. When I visited Afghanistan before coming here, many of my interlocutors pointed out the key role that Pakistan has to play in the peace process in Afghanistan as they saw it. And I am confident that the right political decisions by the Pakistani side is also going to contribute towards further improving the standing of Pakistan in the world. He here Pakistan can indeed play a very important part in the peace process in Afghanistan.
Und natürlich haben wir auch über die Spannungen, die jüngsten zwischen Pakistan und Indien gesprochen. Und ich will das hier noch einmal sagen, dass sowohl die schnelle Überstellung des indischen Soldaten durch Islamabad als auch das Dialogangebot, das der pakistanische Premierminister Khan an Indien ausgesprochen hat, die richtigen Schritte zur Verhinderung einer weiteren Eskalation gewesen sind. Und dass wir uns grundsätzlich ohnehin darüber einig sind, dass grenzübergreifender Terrorismus nachhaltig unterbunden werden muss. Und auch dabei gab es in den letzten Tagen positive Zeichen, die wir sehr begrüßen. Letztlich geht es darum, jegliche Art von Terrorismus und Extremismus zu bekämpfen. Und dabei, bei diesem Weg, werden wir Sie und Ihr Land auch in Zukunft unterstützen.
About recent tensions between Pakistan and India, and I would like to repeat here now that the speedy release of the Indian pilot, the Indian soldier, and handover to the Indian side, as well as the offer submitted by Prime Minister Khan to pursue a dialogue with India, are, as I see, the right steps towards preventing a further escalation of the situation. On a more general note, I'd like to say that we both agree, both our countries and governments agree, that we need to curb and fight terrorism as it cuts across borders. And over the last few days, we have seen positive signs on behalf of Pakistan being very engaged in that respect, and we welcome those steps. Generally speaking, as I said, we are part of it. We have an important part to play when it comes to fighting terrorism, counter-terrorism measures.
Und letztlich haben wir natürlich auch über die Reformen gesprochen, die sich die pakistanische Regierung vorgenommen hat bei der Bekämpfung der Armut, im Gesundheitssektor, bei der Bildung. Das sind Reformen, die wir gerne unterstützen wollen. Deutschland ist ohnehin der viertgrößte bilaterale Entwicklungspartner Pakistans, aber unabhängig davon bin ich überzeugt, dass es noch viel Potenzial gibt, um die deutsch-pakistanischen Beziehungen auszubauen.
We've also talked today about the reform agenda that the new Pakistan government has set itself, focusing on the areas of reducing poverty, improving health and education. We are more than willing and happy to support Pakistan and Pakistani government in these endeavours. Germany is, by the way, the fourth largest bilateral development partner of Pakistan, and I'm confident that there is a lot of room for further deepening and developing bilateral relationships.
Thank you very much, Excellency. We will take a few questions. Please be short and direct. Identify yourself and your organization, please.
Thank you, sir. I am Zair-E from Associated Press of Pakistan, and my question is to the visiting foreign minister. Sir, earlier there was a perception that some statements from your side was biased or one-sided, particularly on the issue of the bargain standard and the Indian case tried on Pakistan. But now it seems that after sharing the thoughts by the Prime Minister Qureshi with you, that you have realized that Pakistan has taken many steps to de-escalate the situation. My question is, do you think that a counseling is required by the international community to India to convince them to respond in positive manners as well? Thank you.
Ich will zunächst mal darauf hinweisen, dass mein Kollege mich im Übrigen auch telefonisch über die Entwicklungen in diesem Konflikt zwischen Pakistan und Indien in den letzten Tagen auf dem Laufen gehalten hat, wofür ich außerordentlich dankbar bin. Wir erkennen die Schritte an, die Verhaftungen, die es in Pakistan gegeben hat, auch das Angebot zum Dialog. Wir haben eben darüber gesprochen, dass eine Hotline zwischen den Ländern eingerichtet werden kann. Und ich selber habe auch mit der indischen Kollegin telefoniert und habe auch darauf hingewiesen, dass der Konflikt, den es in Kaschmir gibt, einer, der in der indischen Verantwortung ist und auch einer Lösung zugeführt werden muss. Ich finde, es ist wichtig, dass beide Seiten ihren Teil dazu beitragen, zur Deeskalation dieses Konfliktes. Dann bin ich mir sicher, dass es in Zukunft auch einfacher werden wird, solche Konflikte und Krisen gar nicht erst entstehen zu lassen.
Allow me to first tone regarding the developments in the conflict, or with regard to the conflict between Pakistan and India, and I'm extremely grateful to him having done so. We recognize the steps taken by the Pakistani government, the people that have been taken into detention. We offer submitted Prime Minister Khan to enter into a dialogue. So I think that this is sending out the right signals. I also talked to our Indian counterpart and colleague, and in my telephone conversation with her, I pointed out the fact that there is the conflict in Kashmir that is, after all, the responsibility of the Indian side, and that requires and awaits a solution. I believe that both sides can contribute towards de-escalating the situation on the ground, and to do so in a way that will make it easier in future for us to prevent similar conflicts.
Yes, please. Your name and the organization. Yes.
Klaus Helm in Deutschland from German National Radio. First a question to the Pakistan Foreign Minister. I would like to know, because I see that almost everybody is talking and looking for a peace deal in Afghanistan. The Americans are talking, the Taliban are talking, Pakistan is part of these talks, officially or unofficially. How important is the inclusion of the government in Kabul in order to reach an agreement? And when does the time come, do you think, that they will have to be included in the talks? And if I may, on the other side of your border in Afghanistan, there's a heavy troop presence, international troop presence. Do you regard this presence as a constructive part in Afghanistan, or do you see it as an impediment? Und an den deutschen Außenminister die Frage, Herr Maas, wie groß ist Ihre Sorge, dass es der afghanischen Regierung in Kabul schadet, dass es der Destabilisierung beiträglich, zuträglich ist, dass sie nicht Teil der Gespräche ist?
As far as the peace deal is concerned, as you know, Pakistan has been advocating for a very long time that the only way forward is a negotiated peace settlement. We've been saying that there is no military solution and we should look for a political solution. I'm glad today important world leaders have reached this conclusion as well, and a process has begun. Talks are taking place in Doha and other capitals are contributing. It's being recognized that progress has been made, is being made. It's incremental. It's not going to be easy, never was, will not be. We will always have to guard against spoilers. We will require support of regional stakeholders, and hopefully they are coming around and things are moving in the right direction. As far as the government in Kabul is concerned, obviously they're important and they have to be part of a discussion that is taking place. Pakistan has encouraged and will encourage all factions within Afghanistan to sit together and have a meaningful intra-Afghan dialogue that will only chart the way forward. They have to coexist. They have to live together. They have to decide amongst themselves what kind of a political dispensation they want in the future. So, inclusion of the Afghan government in the final stage of the talks, I think, is important. But a good beginning has been made. We should build on it. On the issue of troops' presence in Afghanistan, obviously they've been there for a purpose, and that's one of the conditions that the Taliban have is a troop withdrawal. What has to be debated, what has to be considered is how, when, with what speed, the timelines, because one learns from the past and history. Creating a vacuum, an immediate vacuum, can also be detrimental for peace and stability. And their presence also is a sort of indefinite presence is also not acceptable. So this is what the detail that has to be worked out, and I'm sure they are working out. Ambassador Zalmay Khalilzad is in the process doing that. What Pakistan would want to see is irresponsible withdrawal.
Was die Frage an mich angeht, wahrscheinlich ist es nicht nur vertretbar, dass zurzeit die afghanische Regierung an diesen Gesprächen nicht beteiligt ist, sondern es ist wahrscheinlich gar nicht anders möglich. Denn die Taliban wollen nicht mit der afghanischen Regierung reden und die afghanische Regierung will, dass nur mit ihr darüber geredet wird, wie der Friedensprozess sich mit den Taliban gestalten lässt. Das heißt, wir sind im Moment noch gar nicht auf der Ebene, an der mal klar ist, in welchem Format überhaupt Friedensgespräche geführt werden. Wir sind darüber hinaus ja ohnehin der Auffassung, dass diese Gespräche auch unter Beteiligung der Opposition in Afghanistan geführt werden sollten, weil ein Friedensprozess eine breite gesellschaftliche Basis braucht. Nur dann entsteht auch wirklich nachhaltiger Frieden, und deshalb, glaube ich, ist es im Moment sogar so sinnvoll, dass zunächst einmal mit den unterschiedlichen Beteiligten gesprochen wird. Ich bin gestern darüber in Kabul informiert worden, dass heute Khalisat in Afghanistan sein wird, um zu berichten über die Gespräche, die mit den Taliban stattgefunden haben. Und so hoffen wir, dass ein Format gefunden wird, an dem alle beteiligt sind, die dazugehören. Dazu gehört natürlich auch die afghanische Regierung, dazu gehören auch die Vertreter der Taliban, aber auch noch andere Teile der afghanischen Bevölkerung. Und dann muss in diesem Format darüber gesprochen werden, wie ein Friedensprozess aussehen kann, aber dass zum jetzigen Zeitpunkt noch nicht alle, die reden müssen, an einem Tisch sitzen, halte ich nicht für schädlich, sondern es ist wahrscheinlich sogar notwendig, die Voraussetzungen erst dafür zu schaffen, damit man mal weiß, wer alles an dem Tisch sitzen wird, an dem dann über den Frieden in Afghanistan gesprochen wird.
The question that was put to the German Foreign Minister is the following. How concerned, Minister, are you that the fact that the Afghan government is not yet part of the negotiations is going to damage the position of the government of Afghanistan and contribute to the destabilization of the situation on the ground? The minister responded with the following words. I think that at this point in time, it is probably justifiable that the Afghan government is not yet participating in the talks. I don't think that it would be possible at this point of time, because the Taliban don't want to talk to the Afghan government, and the Afghan government wants and insists that the Taliban talk to them exclusively and to no one but them about the peace process. So I believe that for the time being, and at this point in time, we are not yet at the point, at the level where we can get all of them together, because we don't have a clear format for the peace negotiations. On the opposite, as I said, for the time being, we will have to probably continue in this way. I, for one, believe that the members of the opposition in Afghanistan ought also to be participating in an exchange and a discussion of the peaceful future of their country. If you want to ensure sustainable peace, you need and require broad public support. Thus, for the time being, it does make sense to work on the basis of this format that has been chosen, as I said, for the time being. When I visited Kabul yesterday, I was told that Mr. Khalisat would be visiting very soon to brief the parties on the ongoing talks. So, as I said, for the time being, this is the format. At the end of the day, we'll have to get together representatives of the government of Afghanistan, representatives of the Taliban, and also representatives of the other social groups and other groups of society, if you want to have a sustainable peace process. If, as I said, right now we are not yet at the point where all those are ready and willing to sit down at the table, that have to sit down at the negotiating table at the end of the day, because the preconditions are not yet.
Thank you very much, please. I think we're running out of time. Madam, please.
From Spiegel magazine. Mr. Minister Qureshi, Germany is very worried about the end of the INF treaty, the ban on middle-range land-based